Alright, today's the day. This is the video I've been hyping up. And if you don't already know, it's should Unholy go full Necromancer. Alright? I'm talking about DKs. We don't already know. Alright? Now, first things first. Let's start about what got me on this. If you can't tell, Diablo. I've been playing a lot of Necromancer in Diablo. Played it on the beta. Played it in Diablo 2. I've been playing it in Diablo 2. And I've really been enjoying Necromancer. And I was sitting there like, man, I really want Necromancer in WoW. But I feel like there may not be enough to fully flesh out a full Necromancer class. And separate it from DK. And two... well, that's mainly it. Like, what's the separation between it and DK? You know, you already got DK summoning plenty of minions. You got Warlocks doing the demon thing, but Undead and Demons, they their own thing. Alright? It's even shown that way in Diablo. So I was like, how could we get Necromancer in WoW? And I was looking at Unholy DK because I've been playing it a little bit. And I'm like, we got this Paladin rework that changed up Paladins a bit. Shadow Priests are getting something. I'm not sure how that is. But I'm like, imagine a 10.1 where we get more class reworks. You know? We've seen Survival turn to Melee. You know? We can see specs be completely changed. So I thought, yo, why not get this thought out there? Could Unholy DKs go full Necromancer? And this is the question I'm asking all of you. Should they? Should they? What do you think, DKs? What do you think, Death Knights? Unholy Death Knights? What do you think about this topic? Now, I'm going to go through my opinions about why I think this would be cool and how I would kind of do it. But at the end of the day, Blizzard's got a lot more resources, so they could flesh out the spec tree and stuff like that a lot better than I could. But I'm just going to give my spin on stuff, you know, kind of the general. So let's start up why. Well, one, Necromancers are cool. Necromancers as a class fantasy, as a fantasy, yeah, as a fantasy class, fantasy. Either way, Necromancers are cool. You know, another thing that's cool are plate casters. All right, we don't see a lot of plate casters, right? I would say Holy Paladins have been considered casters sometimes, melee others, but usually it's considered as a caster, right? Why wouldn't you want Unholy DK, its opposite, to also be considered a caster? You know, we see plenty of plate that are robes, and I like that. I like having plate robes, right? You have the big plate where you need it covered, and then there's cloth there to make it look cool. All right. Also, it would actually give DKs diversity, right? You look at druids, right? They can do anything. Each spec is a different role. You know, you have rogues with 3 melee, but don't get me started on changing something there. That's another video. But you look at DK, you got the tank spec, and you got 2 melees. And because it's 2 melees, it's like, is Frost good? Okay, I'm Frost. Is Unholy good? I'm Unholy. But if it was its own caster, it's its own slot. It becomes a new slot. So for the people that switch to class... so say I'm a caster, and I want to switch to another caster, I would just switch to the best caster, right? Either way, right? If I'm melee, like Windwalker's good, okay, I would just switch to Windwalker if it's good, right? So the min-maxers were already switched classes, right? So with DKs, and that's why I'm asking DK players, you would have the option, do I want to be a melee DK or do I want to be a ranged DK? And I think that would be cool. It would give a lot of diversity to the way DK play, and I think it would be cool. So, to sum up my why, Necromancers are cool, and it gives something cool to Unholy DKs that may want this if they don't want, like, this whole playstyle about popping pustules and all that. Alright? So, that's my case for why. You know, Playcaster cool, Necromancer, the Fantasy cool, Unholy can use a mix-up maybe. That's for y'all to decide. In my opinion, it does, and I think this would be cool, but that's my opinion. That's not everyone's opinion, but I'm getting the idea out there. Now, I'm going to walk you through how we get Unholy DKs. So, a few things I want to fix in the game that you may or may not agree can be changed here. So, since we're getting a Playcaster, all plate, and I think most plate does, if we actually look at it in the raid journal, here we go, where's plate? See, it has intel. It has strength and intel. I think all gear should just have all three stats. Maybe plate gear doesn't need agility, but if you just set the precedent that all gear has all three, you stop running into the problem of there's several people who grabbed strength axes and don't realize it doesn't also have agility on it. And it stops that. Alright? And I don't know the reason behind them limiting that in some cases or the other, but that would give us more two-handers, so Holy Paladins could rock the int two-hander again, which I think would be cool. And the second thing, it would change how the game works, is polearms and stabs, same thing. Staves and polearms make it one skill, or make staves and polearms. If your class can use staves or polearms, you just get both. It's a stick. You use it one way, or you use it the other way. Alright? Like, there's two ways to use the stick. Alright? So those are the two main things that you'd have to change, just in general, but I think those changes are good, and simplify stuff for a lot of players. And I don't know why it's not a thing. The second thing is the third thing is minor, and could fix like something else. But why are int weapons have less damage per second? Why? Alright? It doesn't make any sense to me. Are they afraid that a mage, if this does the full damage of a DPS dagger, is the mage going to go melee? Alright? But see, that moves me on to some point. There may be a bit of a gap of getting the melee aspect out of Death Knights, but there are ways around it for Unholy in my mind. But let's paint you a picture here, okay? I'm a level 10 Death Knight. I just hit level 10. I'm like, man, I like summoning corpses. I think this corpse thing is cool. I went through the DK starting area. Look at this. This dude's summoning corpses, summoning skeletons. This is cool. I want to summon skeletons and ghouls. I want to summon an army of ghouls. You know, I read this blood thing. A dark guardian who manipulates and corrupts life energy to sustain themselves in the face of an enemy onslaught. I see this death strike. See this dancing rune rip, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. But that's not me. Frost, damage, and icy harbinger of doom, channeling runic power and delivering vicious weapon strikes. Look, weapon strikes. You got obliterate. You got pillar of frost. You got this cool dragon. Unholy. Let's read this description. Does this scream melee? A master of death and decay, spreading infection and controlling undead minions to do their bidding. Look at this. Raise dead. 30-second cooldown. Have a ghoul fight by your side. Apocalypse. Bring doom upon the enemy, dealing shadow damage. Now, it is a melee attack, but does it have to be? That's the question. Look at this. Look at this lady here. She's got her weapon on her back and her hands out. Does she look like she's using her weapon? No. They don't. Because she's got her minions doing it. Alright? Now, let's go into the DK talent tree. Alright? Now let me paint you a picture of this new talent tree, right? We got a few tweaks here. Maybe add in ghouls, your minions melee attack speed, because I definitely want the Necromancer to be a full caster, right? You can have your Death Strike be a Death Bolt. You can have your Death Coil, alright? Or maybe make your Death Coil the main cast, you know? And then you have your diseases, alright? You know, this strength, just make it both stats, or give DK strength and int across the board, and then make this like verse or something, or make it something different than just a stat bonus, because sometimes they gotta have dead talents, but I'm not too concerned about that. Now, let me paint you a picture about my new Necromancer Unholy talent tree. So you'd come down here, the middle tree, and you'd be like, yeah, I'm getting ghouls, I'm getting goblins, or gargoyles in this regard, I'm getting ghosts, skeletons. You know, you have the full melee build in the middle. Most classes try to get 2 capstones either way, so you usually have builds go down 2 sides. As you can see, this is the raid build. It goes down 2 sides, gets 2. So I'm imagining all DKs, you're going to be going down the minion tree for that full effect. You know? And then we got one side that leans heavy into diseases. Maybe keep the pop and pustules, but I'm not too concerned about that. I'm just talking about diseases that wither the life away. You got Defile, you got maybe Unholy Blight, just applies the swarm of insects to the target. You know, here, I'll just do it down this tree. You got Vile Contagion, 30-yard range, 30-yard range. They're already all 30-yard ranges. You know? You know, Defile. You got all these dots. So you have the dot build. This one is full range. You're just casting, putting the diseases on, and watching your minions rip them apart. Almost like a new BM Hunter. Alright? But with more survivability because you're a Death Knight. Now, for the other tree, I had this cool idea. Now, hear me out. Necromancers have corpses in Diablo. Death Knights in Hearthstone have corpses. Why don't Death Knights in WoW use corpses anymore? Death Knights used to use corpses. There's still a single spell Death Knights use that uses a corpse called Corpse Exploder, which does nothing. You know, we used to use corpses, and then it turns to corp dust, and then you stopped using corpses, and you're just like, yeah, we're getting done using reagents. Now imagine they brought corpses back. Right now I'm thinking only for Unholy. You know, think of it as kind of how soul fragments work for Death Knights, or Demon Hunters. So it's just, but it stacks higher. So it just stacks per corpses of your minions and mobs. Alright, but I'm thinking maybe just your minions at this point. So you get like a stack. So you have like a 10 stack of corpses, and you start popping them off. You know, your Army of the Dead minions die. You got a new corpse, you know? And you can have the visual, you know, the normal visual of a corpse exploded, that nasty, chunky corpse model. You can have those around, and it may get cluttered on the screen. So you may not even have to show them, or you can for effect, you know, maybe have it turn on and off if you want. But I think that would be cool to bring corpses back for Unholy DKs. Maybe for DKs in general, to a minor extent. I was also thinking at some point it could be like a combo point system. I'm like, no. I think just a stacking buff, kind of like how soul fragments work. You know. Now, I was thinking maybe the corpse explodey builds would be like pseudo melee, like you'd want to like kind of how Paladin have like a melee-ish, Holy Paladin have a melee-ish build. and then like a full caster build, so you can do that. Because I'm really trying to play on that holy unholy dichotomy, and give us the plate casters that I personally want. Now, I pretty much got everything I want and I imagined for it. You know, one thing I was thinking about is rune weapons, right? And this was interesting to me. So the best rune is Fallen Crusader for pretty much everything, I think. I mean, I technically didn't look at Frost, but I'm pretty sure for Blood and Unholy it's just this. And maybe for Frost too. But I'm thinking like, yo, we got this rune right here that is supposed to be used for your ghoul attacks, and it isn't used because this one is just better. Dude, this would be the perfect rune to use on an Unholy Necromancer. Dude, it buffs your minions. It gives them all this cool effects. You know? I don't know about DKs, but I don't know how many of us go looking through here, oh my god, I want to use this one, or I want to use this one. I think most of us just, oh, I'm a DPS, I do this. And I even think tanks do that. So you don't even get to use this cool one armor and all stats or all this stuff. Or this one. And I think at least with the Necromancer, you could be like, yo, I'm going to use Apocalypse because I'm a caster. You know? So I thought that would be cool. You know, and I do think there may be some hiccups from caster, from melee to caster, if there were and people not liking it. If like you're an Unholy main, you're like, no, I want to be melee. I like being melee. So that's why I want more opinions. But this has been my thoughts on should Unholy go full Necromancer, and I think it could, and it would be a full rework, and I don't want a rush job. But I just really want Necromancers in WoW, and I think this would be a cool way for us to get Necromancers in WoW. But thank you for watching my video. If you're an Unholy DK or just someone who plays WoW and really wants a Necromancer in WoW, comment your thoughts. I would like to actually hear that. I normally don't ask for comments. But yeah, give me your thoughts. Thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye.